Alright, hello, I'm filming this hopefully quite quickly, but I do have a lot to say. I've watched all your videos until now, so I wanted to respond to them. So first of all, Katie-Rebekah, you mentioned you visited over 20 countries, and in the end I think you said 22, and I think I'm close to that number. I might have a few more or a few less. I do think I'm over 20 though. What else did I write? Not sure how many I'm on, and I'm not sure exactly which ones, so I'm going to try and make a list for next week's video, because we've got one more week, or well, I have one more video anyway to do within this theme. Oh, we all have, I forgot. So I'm going to try and find all the countries I visited, and skipping ahead to Sam, I'm also going to try and find all the states I visited. And yeah, you mentioned about aiming for 30 before 30. I am definitely also aiming for that. I'm kind of hoping I can match my age to how many I've visited, and to keep that going all my life, basically. But we'll see. And obviously there'll be years where I travel more and years where I travel less. Anyway. Then you also mentioned that you really want to visit Austria and Croatia. I have been to both of those countries. Austria, beautiful, but especially Croatia it was one of my favourite holidays. I loved Croatia and I would so gladly go back. On to Sam. Now you mentioned that you are not going to be reaching 30 before 30, but I think it's okay because you don't live in Europe and it's so much easier to travel when you're in Europe than not. And as you mentioned, America's a very big country and you can do lots of wonderful local travel, so I forgive you. And I've never been to Thailand and you speak so highly of it, and like it's never really been of interest to me, but now I'm kind of curious, and it's not even that far. Like it would be so easy for me to go on one of my stopovers when I come to Australia. It would be so easy, but I've just never done it. The only place I've actually stopped over, actually there's two, there was Singapore and Hong Kong. Those are the only two places I've been as in for a stopover. Then I've also just written USA is very big. Well done, Raquel. And as I mentioned, I'm going to find out which states I have been to and figure that out and let you know next week and make a lovely list. You mentioned about how I must be sick of packing, and I definitely am. I am so sick of it. It's just constant, and I'm really hoping that it slows down a bit, but we'll see. I'm really happy for you that you feel ready to travel with the kids. I'm sure that'll be really nice, and I'm very jealous of the thing with your car. I don't know if I mentioned that last week. I love that setup and I think it's really cool. I would love to go to Canada. You mentioned that you're obviously very close to the border. It would be very easy for you to do a road trip there, and I've never been, and it's been on my list for years and years and years. I really want to go to Maine as well, actually, so I could probably combine that, but yeah, I'd love to go. I especially want to go to Vancouver, but Canada in general is pretty good. Then you mentioned on your wish list was Iceland. I am so desperate to go to Iceland, and especially the 24-hour sun, whether that's in Iceland or another Nordic country, I don't mind, but I am desperate to see that. I love the thought of that. Then you mentioned South Africa, which is really interesting because it's never really been on my list, but I have heard good things about it, and recently as a family we've been talking about it more and more to maybe go there because it's a good middle point for like everyone in the family. So who knows, maybe some point in the next year or so I'm hoping we'll get to go. And then state-wise you mentioned Arizona. I loved Arizona. I so highly recommend it, and obviously the Grand Canyon, you just can't even like imagine what it's going to be like. It's so impressive. It's just incredible. I highly recommend it. And you mentioned Alaska. I have been desperate to go to Alaska for so many years. I really want to go and I've just never had an opportunity to, but that's also very high on my bucket list. Alright, back to Katie-Rebekah's most recent video. You saying that you've lived in the same area all your life just makes me so jealous. Like obviously I feel very fortunate that I have moved around and that I have travelled a lot. I'm very lucky, I know that. But the idea of just staying in one place, it seems so nice to me. I'm so jealous of that. Like it just seems so comfortable and easy, and you know the area, you know the people, you know everything. Like I'm very jealous of that. And then it's so funny that you mentioned the thing about the lottery, because literally earlier today, just out of the blue, my mum asked me what would you do with $1 million, and literally the first thing I said was travel, and then I said and buy a house. But for me, travel came before buying a house. So I agree with you. And I think I'd spend less money on my house and way more money on travel. Also, I can't believe you want to go on an American road trip. I can give you all the tips if you want. I don't know which areas you're going to be going to. I'm sure Sam can help you out as well, of course. But I definitely have some recommendations so we can chat about that. And then you also mentioned about the Disney parks. That is something that I really want to do, but I just don't have the money for. I've been to Euro Disney I think twice, and I've been to the one in California I think twice as well. Maybe only once, I can't remember, but I loved both. and I'd gladly go back. And we were going to go back to Euro Disney this year, me and a friend, but it just never happened. But that's, I think, I'm more likely to go back to Euro Disney than to go to the other parks, just because it's nearer and it is cheaper. And lastly, go to Holland. I love Holland, obviously. And I'm already planning to go back. I've got a trip booked already, which is insane. I was just there. And I didn't mean to book another trip, but it just kind of happened. It worked out well, so I'm gonna do that. But yeah, go. I know you've already been as well, but I highly recommend going back. I love Holland. I just love Holland. And going in May is the best season. I was just talking to my father about that as well, because I'm going in May, and it really is the best season. I don't know if you've ever tried white asparagus, but I so highly recommend it, and May in Holland is the right time and season for it. It's a bit more expensive, but it's good. It's worth it. So I think that's all I have to say for this video. And like I said, next week, I'm going to try and get all my countries and states up and figure out where I'm at with those. And then I'll see. I can't even remember what the theme is for May. Oh, and also, obviously, we need to get working on our boxes. I know you guys are probably way ahead compared to me. I feel like I've made a list, but I'm not there yet. So gonna work on that. But that is all from me. Sorry for the slightly longer video and for the quiet voice and everything. And I'll see you guys next week. Bye!